Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame, and this is the recap review for Family or Fiance. So, this episode was very triggering and annoying at times to watch because I don't know. I'm gonna get into it because, first of all, let me just say this. I am not the type of person that is trying to sit up here like when I do these shows. I'm not really trying to read these people. And like with this situation right here, I have been somewhat in the situation, so I can understand certain aspects of it. But that does not excuse the behavior and all of that. That does not excuse what is going on and people turning blind eyes to what's going on. So let me tell y'all what's been happening. So the couple's names are Lakeisha and Jaquan. They met on a dating app. They got married a year after they met. But the problem with that is she was like, I want to be married. We got to go get a ring. So he was basically forced into going to get a engagement ring for her and then proposed. Looking back on it, she feels bad about that or whatever. But she was just like, well, I don't want to sit up here and basically get pregnant for somebody who she ain't married to. Okay, because she already has 2 children. And she ain't even taking care of those. Let's just get into that. At least at the time of the filming of this. Let me correct myself in saying that. She had left where the children were in order to pursue the relationship with him, because in her mind, she's like, oh, well, let me go over here and make sure that where he is, let me vet him, let me vet this place, let me make sure that the place is great enough before I pick up and leave with my kids and bring them to this environment, and it's not right. Child, it was just red flag after red flag. So it ain't even had to do with the fact of them getting engaged within a year. It's just how it happened, because that's not the way it was supposed to go. I don't understand what she saw in him. But at the same time, she had no self-esteem. They met on a dating app. Cool, ain't nothing wrong with that. Plenty of people are in amazing relationships who've met off dating apps. The problem is, like I said, she had no self-esteem. She would sit up there and she would be with him and he would be cheating. She only knows of right now like 6 times that he was cheating on her. Or that might have just been the number that she threw out there. But this one particular time, they were living together, if I'm not mistaken. Now, keep in mind, he ain't got no job, y'all. The way that he was talking, I'm thinking he had his own place and he got evicted, got kicked out because of non-payment or something like that. Or worst case scenario, he was living at home with his parents. From what I can gather, after the conversation, got further along in the episode, when he got kicked out, it was literally he was living with her. So what he did was, in his mind, he was like, oh, let me get on this dating app, find a random dumb heifer who will let me come lay up with her, and I will be a homosexual. Sorry, that was complete homosexual written all over that situation. To me, he was a homosexual. He ain't got no job. So it's like, I don't understand what you saw in him. And my thing is this. It don't seem like he had nothing going on, like any intentions of anything going on. It's like, why is your first priority, let me get on this app and find random heifers instead of me actually getting a job? I don't understand. You should have been trying to find a job. And then, like, she should have already known when they had their first date. They went on a movie date. Probably asked his daddy or a friend or something for a couple of dollars for that, because I guess all he had enough money for was the tickets, if he even paid for the tickets, because she said that he didn't even pay for the snacks. Now, I don't blame nobody who has anything to say about the snack prices and all that stuff, because I don't know if I'll ever go to the movies again, but those things are very, very high unless you have a certain day of the week, which usually is like a Tuesday or something like that, where everything is cut in half, or you go to a discounted theater or whatever. But I gladly brought snacks in whenever I wanted to bring them in, whether it was a bag of grapes or some like snacks that aren't good for you. I've done both. So yeah, but she was like, well, I decided to give him a second chance despite that cheap date, and he's completely different from all the other dudes I've ever dated. And he was just so nice. And I'm just like, because he was a homosexual. Because he was a homosexual is why he was so nice to you, is what I'm gathering. I don't know. I don't know. So yeah, y'all, it was just too much. So anyway, they got there. They ended up meeting up with Tracy and they talking. And we find out that after he got put out one time, he got on the app and found a heifer and laid up with her. And the woman ended up pregnant. He don't know if the baby is his or not. So now she's like, well, later on, she's like, well, if the baby ends up being his, I'm going to put the wedding off. But if it's not, we'll just continue on like we were going to do and get married in a couple of months. They were due to get married in July of this year. Okay. So anyway, I'm just like, you ain't got no job. You might have a baby on the way. You're with this woman who ain't even taking care of her kids, but you are supposed to still be taking on that stepfather role, but you ain't even ready for that. Like, it's just too much nothing going on. I'm not understanding why y'all ain't getting y'all lives together. So, we find out that she doesn't have a relationship with her own mama at all. It's always oil and water. But the problem is she always praising her sister and putting her down. And, I was wondering before I actually saw it happen if it was the reason that I was thinking that it was. And to me it is. And I'm going to say what it is later on. And, I noticed that his daddy, I don't care if it's a stepfather or whatever he's supposed to be, I wasn't here for it 99% of the time because of the way that he made it seem like, oh, well, I didn't like the way you put him out. Like, when they did the meeting, the family meeting, his reason why he had an issue with their relationship was because she put him out. You done put him out like 5 times already. And then come to find out, they didn't even know that he was cheating on her. And that's why she kept putting him out, because she kept finding out about him cheating. And so now it's like, oh, wow, that's why. Oh my. Oh, okay. But that was your concern. Like, your concern wasn't the fact that he had no money coming in to take care of said wife that he was trying to have. Like, he can't even take care of himself. He ain't got no money coming in. Like, what is we talking about? I don't understand. So anyway, it was just stupid to me. It was just stupid. You know what I'm saying? He said he thought it was too early and that she keep kicking him out. And I'm like, okay, your priorities are in the wrong place. I'm glad that his mama said something about her and her kids, because it's like, you left everything you know for him. I don't care the reason why she talking. I don't care nothing about her talking about, well, I just wanted to make sure that, I would just go ahead and make sure that it was going to be the environment that it needed to be before I bring them into that environment. You in a whole nother state and your children are somewhere else. And this man is a homosexual and it sounds like you taking care of him. And it's like you have 2 young mouths to feed. I don't understand. Like, it ain't making, like, none of this is making sense. So anyway, everybody said what they was going to say. And then they ended up doing their tasks. Her task was figures in a hat. And his task was going to be presenting to her folks a 5-year plan. Because everybody's scared, because it's like, we don't know what you got going on. This ain't making sense. When they were talking to Lakeisha, she was in her feelings because she was like, oh, well, we're getting married because I think that us getting married is going to stop him from leaving. And then people were like, girl, even if you were to get married, that don't stop nobody from leaving. It was just crazy to me. I don't understand. They both, and I do agree that when his mama said what she said in the confessional, which is the both of them need to work on themselves before they could try to think that they're going to be in a relationship together. Do what you need to do first instead of all this other crap you got going on. It ain't even making no sense, y'all. So I was just like, child, I don't understand. So anyway, he was talking about, oh, well, I went to school to, law enforcement or whatever. And he was like, well, I got a job offer and I will hopefully start in the next couple of weeks. And I'm like, I'm glad for you. I'm glad you have a job that is going to hopefully start you within the next 2 weeks to a month or whatever. But you didn't have no job before that. Like, what is going on? Unless they didn't say nothing about it. Like, I don't know. This is crazy to me. You should have never sat up there and tried to get engaged. You ain't have nothing to speak of. You ain't had no money coming in. That don't make sense to me. I don't know why. And then y'all was really seriously sitting up there talking about having kids. Why? She ain't even got hers with her. And you wasn't even in your mind, and you said out your own mouth, you didn't even know if you was ready to have, that interaction with the kids. Like, you don't even know how you gonna feel about being a stepfather. And you got a baby that's possibly on the way that's gonna be yours, and you don't even know if it's yours or not. Like, it's just too much. It's too many moving parts that ain't making sense. So yeah, everybody tired. And then like and then I think that her people, when they were talking to him, they were like, oh, well, the way that your folks was talking, it was making it seem like it was all her fault. So basically, it's not all her fault. It was your fault because you was out here cheating. Oh, okay, yeah, like, what is we talking about? So, yeah, it was just too much. So this next scene was very disturbing to me. Like the next day, if I'm not mistaken, day 2. Lakeisha and Jaquan came downstairs while everybody was about to eat breakfast or in the middle of eating breakfast. And, they were about to start doing tasks and all this other stuff as well. I'm talking about they hadn't even met with Nicole. I was about to say Nicole. They hadn't even met with Tracy yet. And we saw exactly what Lakeisha was talking about, which is her mama always putting her down. So she walked up to her. I understand her saying something about the cleavage because the shirt she had on, this is her breast. This is where the shirt was stopping. Her breast about to spill out the shirt. She had like a half of a cardigan on that wasn't covering up nothing. And I mean, from her reaction, I could tell that she was not knowledgeable of that being the situation. Like, she was not aware, because she really thought that was doing something, where the little cardigan wrap thing was just all right here, but her breast was right here and hanging out, about to bust out the bride any time. So then she walked past and her mama was reading her. She thought she needed to change the jeans she had on. She said something about the wig she had on because we could see her hair out the back. Like, we could see her actual hair and the differentiating components of the wig versus her hair. And she just kept reading her. And then, like, her sister, overheard it, and then she went to the bathroom with her to help kind of try to blend it in and hide it and all this other stuff. And it's like, girl, like, but it's crazy because when she came down the steps, it was just critical. Her sister came down the steps. She was like, oh my gosh, look at my beautiful, gorgeous daughter. She got those Tina Turner legs. Just kept setting it off. And I'm just like, why are you doing this? What is this supposed to garner? I'm not understanding. This is why your daughter has no self-esteem. You have not instilled anything into her to make her feel beautiful, apparently. And I don't know y'all from Adam, but from just this moment alone, I was just like, nah, this is crazy to me. This is crazy. Nah. So yeah, they went into the meeting and Lakeisha was like, I feel like, his mama is not going to approve of everything. I don't think she's going to say yes to us being together. They're going to think we should have been together a little bit more time and all of that. And I understand that she is here for the fact that he was understanding of what she had coming to the table. But nah. In her mind, she like, look, it is what it is. But if he end up being the father of this child, I am going to put our relationship on the back burner. And I can't. It's too much. Like, y'all, I'm so drained. Anyway, she was trying to see if she could understand that the way that she treats her fiance is the way that her mama treats her. And right now she ain't really seeing it. And it's basically the way that her mama didn't parent her is the way that she's acting toward him. So it is what it is. And she did say, well, we're not using protection. And he was like, well, I'm not taking birth control. This heifer might be pregnant. So then they ended up having her take a pregnancy test. She is not pregnant, hallelujah, because you already ain't with the kids that you already did give birth to. Well, they are supposed to meet up with her mama, and her task is supposed to be very simple, where she talks to her mama and tell her how she feel and how she's felt her entire life, which is she felt small, less than, depressed, sad. So before they could really even try to get into a conversation, she was like, well, your sister was outgoing and you were quiet and you always wanted to be in your room reading and whatever, whatever. And so every time she would try to start talking to her, she was like, well, I mean, I had to work. So I'm just like, girl, like she never got to tell her full on what she wanted to say, which was all the things that you did to me. And despite how I was as a child, you never tried as a mother to come to me and have interactions with me. And I was closed off. But again, you still could have came to me and had a relationship with me, but you didn't. I ended up being depressed. I ended up being sad. I had no self-esteem. I didn't value myself, none of this. She never got a chance to do this. Her mama got so upset, she got up and walked off, tried to say that she don't treat the other daughter no type of way, which is a lie. I'm talking about the conversation was so loud and so bad. It was just terrible to the point where Keisha was like, well, since she don't want to do it, well, F her and all this other stuff. Like, it was bad, y'all. It was so bad that his mama overheard the situation and was just crying. And then after they left from where her mama was, because she tried to follow behind her mama, because they both were trying to say to her, we got to resolve this because this is too much going on. Like, this is a major issue. And it is blocking a lot that could have created growth in her. She could have had amazing growth in that area. And they could have started going somewhere that day. But no, her mama wasn't trying to hear nothing. Relationship was trash. So anyway, they ended up walking up to his mama after it was over with. She was like, you know what? After hearing how she was trying to talk to her mama and explain the situation, I now understand where she's coming from. And I hate that for her. I'm here for her now, whatever, whatever. And it's crazy that that situation is what opened her eyes up to this woman. That's not even her child. And then the reaction that she got from his mama is the reaction that she should have got from her own mama. And it's sad she didn't get it. So it's just to the point where it's like, they don't know what to do. It is what it is. And they don't know what to do. So now they are on day 3. They meeting up with Tracy and they talking. And she actually had a moment where she realized that the way that everything happened with her mama when they tried to have that meeting is the way that she does treat her man. And like, she really saw it. It was a mess. And it is what it is. And so she looking like, okay, we had the blessing ceremony. Which thing gonna pop off? And she was just like, I don't know. I don't think we're gonna have no blessings. Not really like that. They went in there. Everybody said no to the blessing except her sister and her daddy. And I was shocked. I was shocked that her daddy even said yes. I kind of think that the only reason why her daddy said yes to the blessing ceremony, saying yes to giving their blessing, is because he really does love her. He wants her to be happy. And I'm like, I understand that. But, sir, I'm going to need for you to do like my daddy wish he had did for me. Okay, so I don't know if I told y'all this before or not, but when I was growing up, I had a lot of stuff going on in my life. People were bullying me at school and trying me and all that. And I was depressed. Had a lot going on. And so for me, I would just be in my room and I would have moments and I would cry and whatever. So one day, apparently my daddy told me that I was crying, and he heard through the door that I was crying. And he said that he wished he would have came in and said something to me and tried to comfort me and ask me what was wrong, because he had no idea any of the stuff I had been battling. By this time, I had already been molested by my uncle. I had already been raped. Like, he didn't know this was I had already encountered that first rapist. I'd already had that. My daddy didn't know about none of this. Like, people don't understand how much I had been battling outside of the bullying. So I'm crying, and I'm thinking I'm crying silently. So when my daddy said that, I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, and he just told me this like in recent years, that he overheard me crying. And in her situation, her daddy should have been like, baby, I love you and I want the best for you. This situation is not the best for you. So I ain't here for it for you. But he's sitting up here giving the blessing because he want to, make her happy. No. I don't understand why he didn't just say to her, I want the best for you. So I want you to take time. If nothing else, say I want you to take your time and sit back and, watch how the relationship unfolds. And he didn't necessarily have to be like, oh, I don't think it's going to work or whatever. It ain't have to be nothing like that. But it was just a mess. But like I said, her sister, and I mean, my thing is, I understand why the sister said it. It's cool. And, she saw what she needed to see. But everybody else was like, nah, her mama ain't really offer up much outside of, no, I don't get my blessing. And I'm like, we expected nothing less from you. I'm shocked you even showed up to the blessing ceremony. So it is what it is. So anyway, y'all excuse me. I forgot I disconnected that because I just wanted to tell y'all what happened at the end. So they decided that they were going to put the wedding on hold. They took the picture. It was the end of the episode, and they gave an update because I was very curious as to what this foolishness was gonna be. Y'all, they went back home, and I'm waiting on it to come up so y'all can see what it said because I want to read off exactly what it said. All right. So what happened was, come on now. Yeah, it's about to come up, y'all. So they're taking the picture now. Okay. Jaquan attempted to find out if the baby was his, but his calls were never returned. After a recent blow up, Lakeisha and Jaquan broke up. Wait a minute. Jaquan attempted. Wait a minute. Keep going too fast. I'm a pause. I don't know why I'm not pausing it. Yeah, Lakeisha left Jaquan. Lakeisha moved with her daughter to be closer to her father and sister, which are the two kids. Now, all these children are underage, so that's why I was kind of like, huh? Okay, but no. Wherever the child was, she went with that child to be close to their daddies and all that other stuff. And the other sister. Then it says the relationship with her mother is in a much better place. That's crazy though. Like of all things, you would have thought that still would have been still rocky because to me they got absolutely nowhere and went backwards on this show. But their relationship somehow got better because at one point in time when they was talking, she said that she was out here running after Jaquan and not spending time with her kids. And so she was like, yes, I do spend time with my kids. And I'm like, your mama might have you on that one. I don't know. But anyway, y'all. But yeah, earlier when I said what I said about how I'm not trying to judge these people, I've seen these red flags before, and I've been the type of person that she is because I did not have a self-esteem. People kept trying me. Now, the difference between myself and her is I really did have parents that told me that I was beautiful, but I don't want to hear that from my folks. I already know my folks telling me what they're supposed to tell me. They're supposed to uplift me. They ain't supposed to tell me I look ugly or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I want to hear people who ain't related to me tell me that I'm beautiful or whatever. So, but the problem was the people who weren't related to me who were telling me that were only telling me that because they wanted that one thing. That was the problem. So I was attracting the wrong people. I was giving my attention, time, and energy to the wrong people or whatever. But the problem with her is she has no self-esteem. Girl, please get some self-esteem. I'm glad that you left him because that situation was trash from the beginning. I'm glad that you are doing what you're supposed to do as a mother now for your children. Please continue down that road. I hope that everything goes well with you. Jaquan, please get your life together because please be up off them apps because you ain't have nothing going on for yourself before all of this. Anyway, hopefully y'all enjoyed the recap review of this. I'll see y'all later on.